What's up guys, this is iTweaks here, and today's the day that we've all been waiting for. Today the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus has become available in stores, and after about a 12-hour wait in line, I was able to grab them both. So what we're going to be doing in this video, we're going to unbox the Plus as well as the 6 right here. We're going to do a first impression video as well as a little bit of a comparison as well, just so you guys can see the difference between the screen sizes and some of the differences between the phones. But if you want to see a full comparison video, make sure to hit that like button, also to subscribe, and let me know in the comments below. So let's go ahead and get started with this unboxing. So first up, let's start with the iPhone 6. Now you're probably going to notice that we have just a white phone right here. There is no detail to it whatsoever. It's just kind of raised on the box, and you can kind of see what that looks like right there. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of this design, but it's really not that bad. Plus it's just the box, so I don't really care too much. Now the ones that we are going to be unboxing today is a 64 gigabyte, and this is the space gray. So let's go ahead and get this knife open and let's start to unbox this bad boy. Alright, so here we go. And there it is right there in all its glory. This is the new iPhone 6. So this is going to be a 4.7-inch display. Of course, there's going to be some physical changes that go on with this phone, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and pull this off right here. So before we actually get into the device and check out all the changes, let's go ahead and power this guy on. So you'll notice, first of all, that we have the power button right here on the right-hand side, and that's just so it's easier to reach on a larger screen right here. So you can see that booting up for the first time. We'll go ahead and set that right here. And while that's booting up, let's check out what packaging that we have inside this box. Now it's going to be pretty much exactly the same that we're used to seeing. Looks like the only difference we're going to see here is this little hole for the camera. And I'll show you why in just a second that we have that. So you'll see right here that we have the ear pods, which we always have. We have the power brick, and then we have the lightning cable right here. So nothing really too exciting in the packaging. If you've unboxed a iPhone before, it's pretty standard. But now let's go ahead and unbox the iPhone 6 Plus. So here's the iPhone 6 Plus. This is going to have the exact same box. We got the logo with the white face right here. And again, this is going to be the 64 gigabyte space gray. So let's go ahead and unbox this guy. All right, so let's go ahead and pull the top here. And you're going to be able to see how massive this phone actually is. So we're going to pull this little tab up right here, and we're not even going to check out what's in the box because it's exactly the same. Just a quick look, you can see that we have the ear pods, the power adapter, as well as the lightning cable right here. And it's really hard to explain actually how big this is. It looks smaller to me in pictures and videos. When you actually get this thing in your hand, it is big. So let's go ahead and power this guy on. And while that's booting up, let's go ahead and pull off the plastic that we have right here. As you can see, we'll pull that off, throw that aside, and I mean, this is big. This is a big phone. And if we put this up next to the other iPhone 6, you'll see just how big that is. I can barely get the iPhone 6 Plus in frame. So now that we've unboxed both of these, let's go ahead and start to take a look around the devices to kind of get an idea of what the build is and how they feel. Now, this is going to be the exact same design on both of the devices. The only difference is that the iPhone 6 Plus is going to have a much larger screen. So the entire device is just bigger, but it's going to have the exact same design. So let's go ahead and put the iPhone 6 aside just for a second while we take a look at the iPhone 6 Plus. And the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the screen size. So you can see right here that this is going to be a massive device. So if you're making a jump from the iPhone 5S to the iPhone 6 Plus, just be sure to know that you're going to have to make some adjustments, and there's going to be a little bit of the learning curve. Now, the screen here is 1920 by 1080, so this is going to be a full 1080p resolution screen, and it's going to have 401 pixels per inch. So that's a pretty big step up from the original Retina display, which is 326 pixels per inch, which is what the iPhone 6 is. Now, if we start to take a look at the design, if we look at the screen, you'll notice that we don't have any more of these sharp corners or square edges that we saw on the iPhone 5S. This entire design is round. So if we look at the edges of the screen right here, you're going to notice that there is barely an edge there at all. If you're looking right up here, I mean, the only way that you can even tell a difference between the screen and the actual aluminum body here is the color. So, I mean, it's really hard to tell a difference, and that's actually really awesome because you're hardly going to be able to tell where that feel actually stops being the screen and becomes the aluminum body. Really hard to tell, and it makes for a much better user experience when you're swiping across from the edge like a lot of people do. Now, of course, this is going to be a little bit harder to reach all the way across to the edge right here, but still, this is a very nice unibody design, and it just feels like one large piece of equipment. Now, if we look over here, we're going to notice that we have our power button right here on the right-hand side, which is something that I mentioned earlier, but you're going to notice that that's going to be a whole lot easier to hit rather than having to stretch up here to the very top to hit the button right up there. So that's definitely a nice movement that they've made for the power button. And of course, right below that, we have the SIM tray, which is always right there on the right-hand side, so nothing really new there. Now, if we move down to the bottom right here, we're going to notice that we have our speaker grill, and then we have our lightning cable connector right there, so that's what we're going to be using for charging. We have our mic, and then right over here, we have our 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, of course, we have our rounded edges right here that I was mentioning earlier. And then right on the back, we have our antenna bands. Now, this is something that a lot of people are not hugely fond of. And really, I wasn't a huge fan of it either. But after having it for, not even too long and seeing it in store, just messing with it, I've actually already grown to not really care about it. It doesn't look too bad. You kind of get used to it. But you can see right up here that it has it up here at the top as well. And I also noticed in the store that the antenna band was actually already scratched on the floor model. So that's something to keep in mind. It looks like these can scratch pretty easily. So that's something to be aware of when you're using your device if you don't have a case. Now, right up here at the top, we start to talk about the protruding camera. So that's not something that I was really crazy about. I don't like the look of having a protruding camera, but it's really going to make me want to buy a case even more just to kind of cover that up. And you'll also notice right over here that we have our True Tone flash, and it's actually round this time. So in the iPhone 5S, we had a oval True Tone flash, but now they've put that in a circular design right there. Now, if we flip over here to the left side of the device, we have our mute switch. We have our volume rockers right here, which is a little bit different as well. You can see they're a little more recessed than on the iPhone 5S, and they're actually more elongated because on the iPhone 5S, you had those circular volume rockers. And then right up here, not much new, we have our 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera right here. This is going to be shooting in 720p HD video, so that's going to be just basically the same that you would see on the iPhone 5S. If we flip over here to the camera and actually talk about what we can do with this camera, we can actually record in 240 frames per second slow-mo. So that's going to be something that's going to be really interesting to test. And we also have, this is still an 8 megapixel camera, but it's also going to have optical image stabilization in the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, that's not something that you're going to get in the iPhone 6. The iPhone 6 is going to have digital image stabilization, which just isn't quite as good as the optical image stabilization, but it's still going to get the job done, definitely better than not having anything at all. So that's one of the main pluses of having the iPhone Plus. Now, another major advantage to getting the iPhone 6 Plus is the battery life. So just in comparison in talk time, if we take a look at the iPhone 6 Plus, we're going to be seeing a talk time of 24 hours on 3G, and on the iPhone 6, we're only going to be getting 14 hours of talk time on 3G. Now, both of these devices are going to have the A8 chip, which is a step up from the A7 chip that we had in the iPhone 5S. We're also going to see the M8 coprocessor in both of these devices. So if you're looking for speed, you're going to get the exact same speed in both of these devices as far as specs go. Now, I haven't put these to the test yet. I haven't run any Geekbench or any type of benchmarks whatsoever. So that's going to be something that's going to be interesting. So if you want to see that, be sure to let me know in the comments below, as well as by hitting that like button. But what I want to do now is go ahead and set these guys up and take a look at the home screen. All right, so now that I have both of these devices powered on, you can see that we have actually an extra row down here that we're going to get with both of these larger screens. So that's something nice. We're going to be able to add a few more applications, 4 to be exact, to our springboard on each page. Now, if we swipe over here, you're going to notice that we have some additional applications that are installed. We have Numbers, we have iTunes U, iMovie, Pages, Keynote, as well as GarageBand. You also notice Podcasts right up there. If we open this up for extras, this is going to be the same stuff that we usually have except for tips. So this is a new application added to iOS 8. So you can see we have Compass, Contacts, Voice Memos right here. Now if we swipe over here, there's one thing that you're going to notice with the iPhone 6 Plus that you're not going to get on the iPhone 6, and that's landscape view for the actual springboard, which is really, really nice. I'm a huge fan of this. There was actually a jailbreak tweak that allowed us to do this. Now, of course, there's going to be more applications that you can use in landscape mode on your iPhone 6 Plus, and I'll probably show you all that in a full review of the iPhone 6 Plus. But just a quick reference to show you guys what these two devices look like next to the iPhone 5S. It'll probably blow your mind. So you can see right here that we have all three of these lined up, and you can really see the massive difference that you're going to get in screen display and real estate on these three devices. So if we go ahead and stack these up, let's unlock our device right here on my 5S, and you can see if we stack this up just how much bigger the iPhone 6 is to the iPhone 5S. And then if we throw both of these on top of the iPhone 6 Plus, you're going to see just how much larger that really is. I mean, that is some massive difference and massive real estate right there on your screen. But that's all I got right now. If you guys want to see more coverage of the iPhone 6 Plus as well as iPhone 6 and iOS 8, be sure to subscribe. Also, let me know what you guys want to see next in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, as always, make sure you hit that like button. All right, guys, until next time, peace.